Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Jesse, and this is The Auditorium. I react to video game music as a musician myself, and today is the return of Ace Combat 7. It's been a while, almost a year. We're going to be listening to Anchorhead Raid and Werewolf, both from the channel Zaptroxix, and these are requested by Extrakun and Callam. Thank you very much. I'm going to assume these are Kaiki as the composer, but I know Ace Combat 7 has like 3 or 4 different composers, so let me know. But either way, before I get started, just a side note, I found this out like a couple days ago or a week ago. Someone commented on an Ace Combat video, and then I started to research Kaiki Kobayashi and what he's done, and that guy has composed one of my favorite songs from Street Fighter V, Fang's Theme, which is like a bossa nova, jazzy thing. And I've liked that song ever since it came out in 2016 or something. Never would have guessed that was the Ace Combat composer. It sounds nothing like Ace Combat, but yeah, just if you wanted to hear something really different from him, check out Fang's Theme. I'll put it in the comments. Anyways, this is Anchorhead Raid with, I already said the channel name. Let's go. Ace Combat 7. The community for Ace Combat is very nice too. Well, at least the music fans. Well, a name like Anchorhead Raid, I can only assume there's some action going down. That's a really cool image too, by the way. Ooh. Dun, dun. Nice. Again. I can already see why it's good. Just because of that right there. Bum, 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 bum. I had to turn myself down. I forgot I'd raise my volume up. Ooh. This is sick. Woo! I love the attention to the percussion in Ace Combat. And everything else. That sounds like Kaiki to me. I wonder if he himself is a fan of aviation, because I feel like he's nailed the sound of aviation. You know what I mean? When I think of jets and anything, I hear this. In anything, movies, games, whatever. Or maybe he's just that good at his craft that he can adapt. I don't think it's looped either. I think we're just going in different areas. It sounds like a kind of bridge section. It was cool. He's kind of made like his own genre, like this electronic, orchestral thing, you know? Where else can I find music like this? From like a music artist. This sounds like it could be dynamic. Like right here, like maybe the action just turned up right there. Feels so heroic and just good. Yeah. Sick. Alright, so what I was looking up while I was hearing that was, I was like, I feel like I did Ace Combat not too long ago. It was a week ago. I did Ace Combat 6, Fires of Liberation. And there was like a couple comments that stuck out to me. Because I said something, or I asked something along the lines of like, is this game still going? Is it popular? Because there's 7 games. And, you know, even I was a part of it, too, with their free-to-play one. Because I tested that game a long time ago for, like, 2 months. And I got a couple of answers, but one of them was... I guess I could just look it up here. But basically, I got the answer of kind of the lore of Ace Combat and how it's kind of a success story. It's had its downs and its ups, but it's kind of come back from the grave a little bit, and... I don't know, something along those lines, and it's really charming to hear that we pulled it out of the trenches, I guess. And I don't know at what point the tide shifted. I mean, I guess I can just look at the comment, but either way, I had no idea that it was that it ever struggled. I just figured it was like a steady climb or something like that. Let me see. There was like a specific... Of course I can't find it now. Either way, basically a couple people were mentioning along the lines that started off kind of okay, and then it fell off, and then it came back, and now it's doing okay, and etc. So, and I think this was like a success too. 7, like this was like a big step in the right direction. So that's cool. Anywho, this song, like I said, I saw the composers right before I clicked play. I googled it, and there was a couple besides the main composer, Kobayashi. So I don't know how much they contributed, or if they just kind of helped arrange, that kind of thing. But to me, this sounds like, you know, like Kobayashi sound, which is so odd for me to say because I haven't heard that much Ace Combat. But I'm actually comparing it to what I've heard in the FF7 remake and Rebirth, which, mind you, I think he only does 1 song in that game, or 2, maybe tops. It's attached to, which I'm sure is by design, but it's attached to an aerial boss, like an aviation type of boss, the Valkyrie, and he's like doing a guest spot, and it sounds a lot like that, you know. So, and I've heard that song hundreds of times, but it's weird that I can kind of hear that here, whereas probably most people have played Ace Combat, and when they play FF7, they'll hear that song and be like, whoa. So yeah, this one, you know, as I was saying earlier, he has this sort of, I guess, genre that he somewhat, I don't want to say created, but it just sounds very unique to have this sort of electronic element in it, but it's not covered in it. Usually when I think of electronic songs, it's mostly drenched in it, or it's just featured a lot of it. It's like bunch of zaps and synthesizers. For him, it's just like a speaking phrase. Every now and then you'll just hear like, and then it'll just go away. The big thing is the orchestra and the percussion. Percussion's a big deal. Like, I hear snare hits, the marching stuff, the kick. There's a lot of energy in the percussion, which I really, really enjoy. But yeah, he's kind of like honed down this sound, and I wonder if before Ace Combat he already had that going, or if he just created it for this. Because like I said, when I think of aviation and jets, like, I think Ace Combat music is just kind of like right at the forefront of what I would imagine I would hear. Which again goes back to what I was saying earlier about that Fang theme from Street Fighter V that he composed. Sounds nothing like anything I've heard from him before. This is before I even cared about composers or even paid attention to them. So I've always liked that song, but I just never cared to see who did it, nor would I have recognized the name. Now I see a lot more names, and you know. So the fact that he can go from that, and who knows what else, you know. I don't know what other games he's been a part of, but damn, that was really good. Basically, the only vibe I got from this was just kind of action. It sounded like dynamic action, like we're doing something, stuff is blowing up, or we're definitely in the sky. Like I said, I'm not sure if any Ace Combat takes place on the ground whatsoever. If I had to assume, I would say no. So in reality, I kind of feel like a lot of it is just up in the sky aerial battles, but honestly, who knows? Who knows? I think that's the reason why I asked, you know, how is the game doing? And I didn't mean it in a mean way either. I just meant, like, how is it doing so well? Because I feel like, in my head, since I haven't played them, I feel like they kind of get repetitive if you're just in the sky all the time and just, you know? So that's why I asked. So in a lot of ways, a lot of songs do sound kind of similar in that vein, but it's not a bad thing. It just makes me curious, so you guys can answer. Anchorhead Raid. We move on to Werewolf. That's an interesting title. It's a little longer too, almost 8 minutes. Werewolf. If I had to take a shot in the dark, that is a code name for somebody. Does it have? Nope, no description. All right, Werewolf. What's that cool percussion again? It sounds more like we're sneaking in like a werewolf. Flank mission? Definitely building up to something. Okay. We got a little bit of a layered song so far. I wonder if I can add another layer and all this stays the same. growing. Really cool. Drum's taking a little break here. Making room for the orchestra. This sounds a little more futuristic. We're in a like mechanical factory or something. Drum be returned. In a way, this one kind of sounds like a build-up for the first song. It sounds like more of a build-up instead of like a song, I guess. Which is cool. Just more of an energy and a feeling and an ambience. I like how the strings sound like they're really far away. That's cool. A lot of power in this one. The whole thing just feels like a pulsating rhythm. Just kind of like pushing me along slowly. Like kind of climbing up a roller coaster ride, sort of. Like the ignition phase or something. It's like a little bit of electric guitar in there. Yeah, about 40 seconds left. I don't think the song is gonna change. Oh, it sounds like it's slowing down actually. Are we? I could have sworn it sounded like it was slowing down. That sounds so cool. That billow. I feel like in this case of this video, I should have heard like Werewolf first and then Anchorhead Raid second. It wasn't told to me in what order either. I just kind of chose it that way. Because this one, now mind you, I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It was a good song. It sounded great. I loved the way it felt and everything. But sometimes there's your traditional song stuff, like your Anchorhead. And then you have your ambient stuff. This was just almost purely ambient for 7 minutes. It felt like it was just gonna take off at any moment, but never did. So it kind of makes me think this is like a phase 1 or an ignition or something like that, or a briefing text. I don't know if there's voice acting in these games or if it's all text. I don't know anything about Ace Combat. I just know that you're in the sky and you blow stuff up. So also don't know if the stories are connected or if they're all their own individual episodes type of thing. So although I don't have a whole lot to say about Werewolf, it definitely kind of gave me the vibe of a werewolf. I don't know if that was intended. Like it gave me this whole sort of sneaking, crawling, flank, all these sort of stealth. I guess stealth is like another, but it also felt the whole thing just felt like ascending and then kind of dormant. Like I said, more of a like a roller coaster going up, but never, like coming down. It just was just reaching its apex, and then I would have to assume the song is right before another one or during a tense moment. When it comes to atmospheric ambient stuff, it's a little harder to talk about, I guess. It's more of I have to be playing this to understand, which goes for 99.9% of the songs on here. So so the whole time, even though like halfway through I was like, okay, this song is not going to really like go anywhere or do anything. It's just going to kind of stay in this pulse. At that point, I was starting to put my brain into try to imagine your best, scenario of you playing this game. Like you're doing this and you're caught up in the story and it's so good, and all of a sudden you hear this, and I could see how that could amplify it quite a bit. Of course, I can just make up scenarios in my head, but that's what I'm getting. It's like the best way I can enjoy something like that, besides it sounding cool, is just giving myself like pseudo scenarios and putting myself in the pilot seat, trying to imagine a sort of tense moment where that would play, And to me, this sounds like not necessarily this Anchorhead Raid, but it sounds like it could go right before another song. I don't know if they were looped at all. 7 minutes. A lot of it was kind of similar. It did climb and layer itself for a good 3 minutes, but I think at some point it looped. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say besides that. It felt good. It did its job, but I have no context, so all I could really get from that was a tense and kind of dark feeling. It didn't feel like a good tense. Whereas, for example, Anchorhead Raid sounded a little bit heroic and kind of positive, like we're doing a good thing type of thing. Werewolf sounded more like we're getting prepared for something bad. And, well, this is it type of thing. The calm before the storm, if you will. But who knows? This is where you guys come in and fill me in on everything Ace Combat. Am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah, and then of course the composer. I don't know who that was. I don't know if that was Kobayashi. It's a little. Yeah, I have no idea. So let me know. I always use VGMDB. I find that as a pretty credible source. So I guess I could look that up. I don't know if any of the other composers are known for anything, or if they just kind of helped with this one. Anyways, cool. Well, the return of Ace Combat, both are really cool. Both definitely feel like, I think every song has done a phenomenal job of making me feel like I'm quite literally flying a jet plane. It's kind of undeniable. I wonder if they ever do any deviation from the horns. Not that I'm complaining, but like, I know they have the electronic stuff, the horn stuff, the percussions, but I wonder if they ever just go into, and a little bit of electric guitar. But does Ace Combat ever go into like the pianos or violins? Or I'm just curious if they ever do anything, or if it's just kind of in this contained orchestral box, if you will. Let me know. I still have many more Ace Combat requests, so don't worry. And yeah, you can check out the Ace Combat 6 one I did a week before this one. And I'm glad it's doing well. It's nice to see. It's always nice to see something succeed instead of tank. Thank you, Extrakun and Callam. Thank you to my Patreon members, my Platinum members, and to you for watching. My name is Jesse. Take it easy.